Hi guys, let's try to do a live stream. Essentially, I tried earlier today, and after crashing like 3 times, I pretty much gave up on trying to do a live stream. I was trying to do a live stream about the PvP, and sadly, it didn't work out too well. And now I'm a little sick of PvP, so I will do something else. Someone requested that I show how to get the Captain Cold hoodie, so I'm going to do that. And I realize that there's a lot of players who don't quite know still how uh, everything is located in relation to each other. So usually I would probably just teleport to Striker Island and start from there. But I will show you. Let's say you start from your base. Let's go to the watchtower. Hi there, DC 100. So essentially I'm going to show you the long way around. Just for those who don't quite know where everything is yet. Essentially, there's a lot of. It may seem obvious for old players where everything is located, but for newer players, it's not that self-evident. So let's go to. I'm not sure why I'm on the PVE. Well, let's switch to the PvP phase. I could do this on the PvE phase, but so let's go to Chinatown. Hi, Gamer Informer. So from Chinatown, for those who don't know, Striker Island is that way. Hi again, Gamer Informer. So Striker Island is that island all the way over there. It's a prison essentially. I first saw it in the Superman comics, obviously. Although it didn't look like that at the time. Freaking, there we go. Sometimes climbing cliffs with super speed, not so easy. Like right now. Don't you dare ha at me. I was just kidding, it's okay. So, and just to be extra sure for everyone, so you can see if you're ever not so sure if you're lost on Metropolis or for some reasons, it's at the very far left of the map of the Metropolis map. I tried to show it with another character, but I didn't have access, so I couldn't see. You see the entrance right over there. There's two ways to gain access to that mission. If you want to go solo, you can enter through the portal that I just showed you. If you want to go in there with a group, you can go in there using the on-duty menu. And it's, there we go. It's the Striker Island Penitentiary. But seeing how I'm combat rating 1 at 18, I think I should be able to do this solo, so let's give it a try. I have it on 1 or 2 characters. I have no idea if this character has it. Like essentially I did a Suicide Squad video not too long ago, and one of the characters that I reproduced was Captain Cold. Sadly, I didn't have the glasses. It was with my Magneto. Usually when I do my my cosplay videos, I use my Magneto character. He's the character I have that has the most styles. So usually I'll do those videos with him. And sadly, my Magneto didn't have the glasses, and the Underbroker at the time they were a little expensive, so I didn't bother. Do I? Let's try it like this. I was just wondering for a second or two which armory I should use. Oh, and I guess I've never been here before, so we're going to be able to get also the briefings and investigations. Let's take some time to look around. Usually when you're with 4 players, you have to hurry up to try to catch up with the players who are running ahead. So if you one of the nice things once you can enter by yourself is that you can take your time, look around. As you saw when you have half a dozen NPCs wailing on you, even though they're much lower level than you are, they still interrupt you or juggle you or knock you down. And that's the biggest drawback of the way juggling and all that good stuff works. Is that even a level 3 could juggle you. And when you're fighting mobs of enemies, it can get a bit annoying after a while. Many suggested that there should be some like resistance, like the higher level you are, the more you should be able to resist being juggled by a low-level enemy. Sadly, it doesn't work like that.
Stryker's staff continues to deny reports of internal corruption and understaffing, insisting that
Hey Mike. Sorry about earlier, the freaking recording kept on crashing. Like I couldn't do the live stream. I tried to start the live stream twice after it crashed, and it would crash after 20 seconds. Sadly, with the new PvP gear and the extra mark you get for PvP this weekend, I guess the population is higher than usual. So the game is not quite as stable as it should be.
cell doors. Inmate file. When switched on, allowed access to prison library.
We can just get one more. Oh, there's our lucky guy.
Are you still alive? The system shut me out. I'm just gonna stay here.
And there should be an investigation here.
That's who's behind this, you know. The minute he arrived.
Let's get rid of those first.
Opening cell doors.
Come on. What is wrong with this gate?
I think there's another one over there, although I could be mistaken. Let's take a look. I guess not. So let's continue. There's no point in clearing all the prisoners on this map. You just need to clear enough to be able to move forward. Although, as you saw, once you're defeated, the 30 you need, there's like a wave or two that appears and that jumps you from behind. So usually when you come with your group through this tunnel, there's usually a bunch of enemies that are running behind your group. So be prepared for that. Often I'll see people who will rush ahead, not realizing that there's other enemies still following behind. But if you know, you can prepare for that, unlike maybe the rest of your friends. there's no word for when they're going to be released. From what I understand, I assume it's going to be during. I was going to say, from what I understand, it's going to be during the Summers of Wonder, but then I realized that they never said that. Essentially, they made the announcement at the same time as they announced the Summer of Wonders. But now I just realized that they never said that it would happen during the Summer of Wonders. But it's sort of kind of implied or suggested, but actually they never really said that. So I just realized we don't know. So a second ago, I would have told you it should be here during the Summer of Wonders, but now I realize that that's not true. There's no reason to even think that. So the short answer is I have no idea. They didn't announce it yet, so we really don't know. Naively, I thought it would happen when the Summer of Wonder started, and when it didn't happen, obviously it became obvious that it didn't really have anything to do with the Summer of Wonder, at least at the time. You could have thought that maybe they would have added that when they added the new PvP gear, but then again, the new PvP gear is here and no time capsules yet, so I guess we're gonna have to wait at least a little longer. I understand. Although I already have the Batman. Essentially, I already have the Batman I want. So I don't really. I have to admit, I don't really care about the future Batman style. It would be nice to have, I suppose, but I guess I won't really have to have it if it makes any sense.
Accepted. Proceed.
What I would much prefer to have is the various lantern emblems. I essentially have like 2 green lanterns, 2 red lanterns, 2 yellow lanterns. So these could benefit. I even have a pink lantern and a blue lantern. So these could benefit from the emblems. So that's more what I was looking forward to with them capsules. And also I'm a bit worried about how it's going to work or how expensive it will be. Because they have similar items in Neverwinter. I don't recall what the actual name is, but essentially they have these boxes that you get as you play, and you need to purchase keys or some such thing to open them boxes. And it's about $1.25 per box. But already I've gathered like 11 or 12 boxes, and I didn't play Neverwinter all that much. So the worry I have is that we will get a lot of those boxes, and at $1 a box, holy crap, it could prove to be expensive real fast. And I know that they said that we should be able to get keys in game, but if it's like some of the other items that drop in game, if they make it so rare, it won't matter if we can get them in game. Odds are we'll probably get more boxes than keys, so we'll probably have to purchase keys if we want to open all the boxes. And if they drop as often as they drop in Neverwinter, holy crap! Even at $1 a box, it could prove to be very expensive. And then again, if we look at Prometheum keys, the Prometheum keys are like $2.25 or $2.50, I think. So if they put the capsule keys at that price, holy crap! It's going to be a little too expensive, even for me. Oh, that was simple enough. Strangely enough, some bosses are often easier than the... I guess we're going to go for the might, or let's go for the cape. Oh, and some exhibits. That's always nice to get. And let's see, is it on this side? There should be another do we get in there again? Or do we need to get in there? Well, we don't know so far if the prices are crazy, but they could be very easily. So let's hope they don't get too greedy. But then again, that the whole point of having those boxes is most likely to sell them keys. So I'm pretty sure they won't do us any favors, and we'll have to buy at least a few keys, maybe a lot of keys, and that's what I'm looking for. And I think we have one right here. Yeah, it's challenging for me to maneuver with. There we go. Can we destroy those desks? Nah. But sure, it's going to be nice to have more Batman gear in order to be able to customize our Batman character a bit more. I didn't notice what the cape looks like. I assume it looks. I don't remember if it looks like a standard Batman cape. So it's going to give people one more way to be able to get a nice looking Batman cape. So right now we have the Batwoman cape, we have the Batgirl cape. So I guess we're gonna have to the future Batman cape as well. Unless it's like a torn up cape or something, which would make some sort of sense with the style, I suppose. But yeah, I too am waiting for those boxes, but I'm waiting for those boxes for the lanterns. Just give me a second. There we go. Could be.
Made a beeline here to get their gear. They'll take advantage of the situation to escape. See what you can do. This is Lois Lane with Daily.
So this is it. This is where we you have to go to farm the Captain Cold hood.
Great trial. Captain Cold, Mirror Master, Heatwave, and Weather Wizard continue to insist on their innocence. Lex Luthor himself has taken an interest in their cause and is providing legal representation free of charge.
I'm a bit surprised that they only added Captain Cold hood. I would have expected them to add. Well, I'm not sure why they didn't add like one item at random from one of the rogues. They could have had an item from all the rogues, and at random you can get either the Captain Cold hood or maybe the Weather Wizard mask or. Freaking ball of ice. Don't you love it when you cannot break out? We'll come back a bit later. So this is a moment of truth. Either we get the Captain Cold hood or we don't. So let's see if we're lucky. Nah, no Captain Cold hood.
Breakout would be somewhat upsetting, but considering Grodd's current state, we're probably safer with them gone.
Well, let's go for the flashbang grenade. It's the only thing we can actually use. So this was it. If you only come to this mission for the Captain Cold hood, there's no point in going further, but we're going to finish this mission because why not?
Superman at the Watchtower contacting strikers with urgent information from Star Labs.
Just making sure not to forget anything.
Feedback loop may have appeared Grodd himself. Grodd in deep psychic lockdown will activate the time stasis cell we developed for Vandal Savage. Otherwise, his mind could affect everyone at Strikers.
I don't remember what we get from this collection, so we'll be able to find out together. So, I don't know if you've noticed the order in which I fought the rogues. Ideally, with a group, that's the way I find the best, is that you go for Mirror Master first. Because Mirror Master creates a truckload of copies of himself. So usually you try to zoom in on the original version. And you try to focus on him despite, no matter how many copies he makes. If you keep on attacking the original version, as soon as you defeat the original version, all the copies disappear. So ideally you want to get rid of him first. Then usually we get rid of Weather Wizard next. Then Captain Cold, because as you saw the balls of ice in which he traps you, you cannot break out of those. So it can get annoying real quick. So ideally you try to get rid of Cold, and then you finish off with each wave. That's not an absolute, like it's not like you have to do it in that order, but for a long time that's the order we would defeat them in. Once in a while, I would see people who would do it in a different order for reasons. But personally, that's pretty much the way I prefer. And now I can hear something. Ah, there it is.
This is Star Labs to Stryker. Hello? We found a piece the Flash.
And if I'm not mistaken, the last one is in Groz's room.
It might snap him out of that.
So let's get to it. And sadly, in this mission, often when you'll see players who will enter the mission, and as soon as you fight the rogues, they'll leave because all they're doing is farming the Captain Cold Hood, and for reasons they I don't know, they decided to cure it anyways. So it's not rare that when you do this mission, halfway through you need to find a new partner for the second half of the mission. Or you have to do it with one man short. Like, it's not rare that we would have to three-man the mission because we would essentially be able to finish the mission before a fourth guy would be added. Ideally, once you reach combat rating, I'm not sure. I will at least finish this mission. I'm not sure if I'll do another mission after or if I'll stop. As for the other live stream, you didn't miss much. The live stream kept on crashing. Like, essentially, I was able to record for about, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then the stream crashed. And when I tried to start a new stream, it would crash after 10 seconds. Ideally, I wanted to make a PvP stream, but I've done a lot of PvP since yesterday, so I'm not sure if or when I'll make such a stream. I never realized this was a little tough one. Don't you love being juggled? Let's try and pull him away from invisible. There we go. Yeah, I did play a lot of PvP. Essentially, yeah, I had the Vengeance gear with my Magneto. That was the top. I pretty much stopped doing much PvP after getting the Vengeance gear. So I had to earn the Red Tornado gear, the Elemental Android gear. So I earned that one, and then I realized that then the Nightwing gear, what's it called, the Night of Gotham Knight or something. I realized that that one was a lot more expensive than the previous one. At first, I thought that if I PvP'd at least a bit during the weekend, I would be able to maybe get the Deadshot gear maybe by Sunday. But now seeing how it gets a lot more expensive with the Nightwing gear, unless all I do is PvP and unless I win a lot, I'm pretty sure I won't get the Deadshot gear this weekend. Go ahead. I'll answer whatever questions you have.
I'll make sure they use a mental nullification shield for the rest of his stay. You just survived the meanest
Let's go for
this side of
let's go for the
Metropolis.
shelves.
Congratulations. Thanks.
Yeah, you get Marks of Legends also. I was able to purchase. I purchased the classic Batman, and I think I purchased the Kyle Rayner Legend. So there is another. Where is it? There it is. Oh, my favorite is the Barry Allen Flash. That's how I discovered the character. When I started reading the Flash, it was the Barry Allen version by Carmine Infantino and I think it was Gardner Fox who was writing the book at the time. Not that I'm that old, but essentially I discovered Flash through reprints. And I think it was in 1980 they started reprinting the Flash where I'm from. So I was able to experience the Flash by Carmine Infantino, and I think that Joe Kubert also did. So there we go. So this is pretty much how you farm the Captain Cold Hood. But yeah, for the Flash, the Barry Allen is my favorite one. It took me a while to get used to Wally West as the Flash, because for me Wally West was Kid Flash, obviously, like for many people. And ironically, by the time I pretty much was used to Wally West being the Flash, of course they had to bring back Barry Allen, of course. Well, at the time, uh, the Flash wasn't selling that well, so I guess they thought that they did tell all the stories they could with the Barry Allen Flash, and they figured, okay, let's kill him off and let's replace him with someone else. And at the time, Kid Flash did seem to be the option they went with. So they killed him in a great story in Crisis on Infinite Earth. Essentially, they used the Crisis to clean house. Like they got rid of Supergirl, they got rid of the Flash, they got rid of a truckload of characters that they saw as not having much value. So let's see what we get from. Oh, that's what we get. So sadly, from the investigations, we get a not so good ring. Let's see what we get from the briefing. So essentially, as I mentioned, what I'm really looking forward with the time capsules is lantern emblems. Like here, we have one of my red lanterns. So imagine if I could just replace the Justice League emblem here with a nice, juicy red lantern emblem. That would be so sweet. Although we do have a red lantern gear with emblem and everything. Sadly, I much prefer the essentially the slimline suits. So I wish we could. I can't wait to be able to actually use the Red Lantern emblem on that suit. For me, it's no contest. The best. Let's put that on the record. The best Batman artist ever is Jim Aparo. He does the best Batman out there. I loved his work in the pages of The Brave and the Bold. Again, I got his work through reprints, and for the longest time, I had only like 2 or 3 Batman comics by Jim Aparo. It took at least a decade or two before I was able to purchase like a bundle of Brave and the Bold comics with a whole bunch of Jim Aparo Batman stories. And of course, in the mid late 80s, he became the regular Batman artist. So that's pretty much where I started buying Batman regularly. Before that, I would buy it on and off. I would buy a few. It was in the 70s and the early in the 70s and the 80s. In the 70s, he was drawing The Brave and the Bold. He did that until probably the early 80s. He did also a few odd Batman stories in the Batman comic itself, but mainly he was doing the Batman in the Brave and the Bold. So let's see what. Oh, wrong one. Where's my mailbox here? Oh, there it is. Oh, this is what we get from the briefings. Oh well. And in the early 80s, he stopped drawing The Brave and the Bold, and they started a new series that was called Batman and the Outsiders. And that's when, and Jim Aparo was the artist when the series started. He drew that series for about, I don't know, 12 issues, maybe a bit more. And then I think it was replaced by Alan Davis. And then he went back to Batman for quite a run again. And his Batman run was a really good run, and that's where we were introduced to a few characters like the KG Beast, who we sort of kind of saw in Batman versus Superman. And then later on, he was they switched artists. Like Jim Aparo was drawing Batman, and there was this guy Norm Brayfogle. I'm pretty messing up the name who was drawing Detective Comics, and at some point they swapped. Jim Aparo went to Detective Comics, and Norm Brayfogle went to Batman. And then later on, Jim Aparo went. I think he went to draw Green Arrow for a bit, and after that, I'm not sure what he did. But for me, the definitive Batman artist, that's Jim Aparo. Although Jim Lee does a really nice Batman, although the Jim Lee Batman is really very inspired by Frank Miller. Essentially, he's trying to redraw the Frank Miller Batman, but obviously in his own style. Oh yeah, the blue collar and cape. The problem is that a lot of the later Batman costumes that they tried to introduce were how would you say that? They lacked contrast. Like I remember in around '89, they tried to pretty much reproduce the look of the Batman from the movies, from the Tim Burton movie. And holy crap! Essentially, you had a black suit with a black cape, and the only contrast the whole costume had was the yellow on the emblem. So that was a pretty. Well, we do we have it? We have a variation on that style, but anyway, in the legends, let's use that. Like essentially, oh, let's try again. Oh, there we go. Essentially, if at some point you had this look, but with like the yellow oval emblem, and even the belt I think was black. I don't think the belt was yellow. But it doesn't have enough contrast for my taste. Well, the Frank Miller Batman was nice for what it was. Like it was a different take on the character. But the thing is that when we had the Frank Miller Batman, we still had the regular Batman in the pages of all the other Batman comics. Like if sure we had the gritty Batman by Frank Miller and the Dark Knight Returns, but we still had the not so gritty Batman in the pages of the Batman or in the pages of Detective Comics. Like very often people will use the argument when people complain about the movies that oh it doesn't matter if they change the character or whatever, they see that as an elseworld. So they'll use the argument that oh well the movies are elseworld, it's okay if Superman is nothing like Superman in the movies, it's an elseworld. But the problem is that there's no other movies. Like if you want to see Superman in the movies, either you watch Man of Steel or other than that, you have to go back in time and watch Superman Returns, or way back in time and watch Superman the movie. So there's no other movie. Like if there was like three Superman movie a year, and one of them was the Superman from Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, and the other two were like let's say the classic Christopher Reeve Superman. Okay, yeah, we have three Superman movie a year. One of them is an Elseworld. That's fine, and we have two other real Superman movie, quote unquote. But sadly, the Elseworld is all we have. So if we want to see a new film with Superman, well, sadly, we're stuck with the current version. We're stuck with the version we had in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. So, and the same with Batman, and the same with Wonder Woman. So if they come up with a version of the character in the movies that's a stinker, like let's say I'm not a fan of the current Superman in the movies, although I have to admit, like many others, Ben Affleck did an awesome job as Batman. So if they make more Batman movies with Ben Affleck, fine, he did a great job. So sure, give us more of that. Sadly, if they give us more Superman movies with with Henry Cavill, well, unless you're a fan of Henry Cavill, yeah, you're going to be miserable because if you don't like that Superman and this is the Superman they're going to be using for the next 10 years, well, you're out of luck. The Elseworld is all we have, and the Elseworld is not very good. So when they use the Elseworld argument, it doesn't work because that means that for a long time that's the Superman we're going to have. Although there is a sliver of hope, seeing how we're going to have a Superman and Supergirl now. Well, the issue is not being family friendly. They could make a not family friendly Superman that's actually Superman, but they seem to have taken their cue from the Injustice Gods Among Us video game. It's as if I don't know the game was so successful that they thought, okay, let's turn Superman into the Superman from that game. The problem is that the Superman in that game is a freaking villain. Maybe that's their whole intent. Maybe they're planning to turn maybe they're planning to turn Henry Cavill Superman into a villain and then have an arc where he's going to redeem himself. Okay, maybe that's their intent, but still, we end up with for 2, 3, 5 movies with a Superman that's basically a villain pretending to be Superman. So it's like, man. And yeah, to me too, Christopher Reeve is Superman. Although, as I mentioned, there is a sliver of hope seeing how we're going to. May as well go do a few missions while we talk. There is a sliver of hope seeing how we're going to have Superman in the Supergirl TV series, and the Supergirl TV series is the closest thing we had of a proper Superman story. Even though it's Supergirl, it's not Superman, but it's the closest thing to the Christopher Reeve Superman as we've had since Christopher Reeves.
Parademons from Apocalypse have invaded.
And I have to admit, I find the lady playing Supergirl really charming. But again, if I know that there are people who don't like her very much, I'm not sure why, but so if you don't like her, I guess tough luck. But I really love her. She charmed me, she's really good at the role. She's really good at making the character look optimistic. Holy crap, I'm starting to think they gave a buff to a lot of enemies. Our missions are much harder than I remember. I guess we're gonna die. Some people suggested that I should make a vlog or something like that. Never really thought about making a podcast. Although never really thought about making YouTube videos either, and here we are. So, but luckily in the Supergirl TV show, we're going to have Superman. They're going to. I hope they're going to stop with their silly approach of trying. They're so scared that Superman would overshadow Supergirl that they didn't want to show him in the first season, which is silly. It's crazy. You would think that the goal of the TV producers is to produce a great TV show. So if having a great Supergirl TV show means having Superman in it, let's do that. But sometimes there seems to be an agenda, not just with TV shows, but with movies as well, where the agenda seems to be telling good stories seems to be the last priority. Sometimes there's agendas that seems to take priority over telling good stories, over having a successful show. Oh, you saw Suicide Squad, and how was it? Do you agree with the critics? Last I checked, it was down to, I don't know, 29 or 26% on Rotten Tomato. Already at like 35%, it was bad, but it's been free falling for the past couple of days now. Obviously, don't tell us the whole film, but just a short yes or no. Was it good? Not good? Did you like it? So you guys all read that? Mike recommends Suicide Squad. So this weekend you have no choice, you have to go see it. Yeah, well, from what I understand, essentially the premise of the whole thing is that Superman is dead, and now they're trying to find a replacement or some sort of defense for in case they get a superhuman threat that they cannot deal with, and their answer is to come up with the Suicide Squad. But luckily, DC is doing a good job with their TV shows. The TV division really does a great job. And I shouldn't say the TV division, the subdivision that does the shows like Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl. Holy crap, they knocked it out of the park pretty much at every turn. And it's funny seeing how essentially their flagship, I was about to say their flagship title, but their flagship series obviously was Arrow, since that's what pretty much started what is known as the Berlanti universe or something like that, Berlantiverse. But now it's pretty clear that Flash pretty much became their flagship title or their flagship series. It was funny seeing some of the promotional posters, and now you have Flash front and center, and then right next to him you see Arrow and the Atom. So it's strange to see that, although it started only as a spin-off of Arrow, it pretty much took the spotlight. And I know that a lot of people complained about this season of Arrow. A lot of people said how they didn't like it as much as the previous seasons. I thought it was fine. some of the highlights was things like seeing a Constantine and an Arrow. That was really fun. Ironically enough, I wasn't a big fan of the Constantine TV show. I didn't think it was very good. But the guy playing Constantine, holy crap, he was good, and he was spot on. He was pretty much ripped from the pages of the comic. Well, thank you, Mystic Mage. You're very kind.
Explosive armed. Awaiting detonation signal.
Sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted right now. There we go. Oh, I guess we're done with. So now let's just focus on fighting some evil parademons. The Teen Titans were great. It was one of the best series in the 80s. And that's not that's saying much because in the 80s we had the X-Men, we had the Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, Crisis on Infinite Earth. We had a lot of series that would turn into classics, and that would pretty much stand the test of time. And the Teen Titans were one of those. I guess we're done here, so let's get out of here. I'm not sure why it's a bit more difficult than when I was I don't know, 114, 115. Well, Raven was great because she was mysterious. When she was first introduced, we knew nothing about her. All we knew was that she was trying to put the Titans together, and Kid Flash obviously had at least a little something with her, or for her. And then as they started revealing who she was and where she came from and all that, holy crap, that was really good. 102. Sadly, of course, they did what they too often end up doing. They ended up killing her, and of course, a few years later, they had to bring her back, and then they killed her again and brought her back evil, and it quickly became a mess. Essentially, once George Perez left the series, the series could never recover from him leaving. There were a few, and that's weird because there was Jose Luis Garcia Lopez who replaced Perez for a bit, I think, and then there was Eduardo Barreto, who were great artists, but still even then they couldn't match what Perez had done. Well, let us switch back to our other DPS look. Oh, wrong way. I'm not going to do those missions because I don't think I still get marks of victory from the Gotham Under Siege missions, but I should still get marks of victory from the Patrol Catastrophe, I think. Oh, I guess I already have the mission. Oh yeah, I already have it.
There are men in this city that worship a concoction called venom. They carry barrels of the poison through the Burnley freight yards.
Beast Boy was okay. He was the comic relief at the time. Although that one was a bit strange. Essentially, you could see that Perez evolved as an artist as he was in that series, and the look of some of the characters evolved as well. Like when Perez started drawing the series, you would think that all of them were pretty much the same age, but then as the series progressed, you would make Beast Boy looking younger and younger. Oh. Although when I first saw him, he wasn't Beast Boy, he was Changeling. But then in later years, they pretty much gave him the name Beast Boy back, which is okay. Both names are fine, in my opinion. Not sure why they felt the need to change the name from Beast Boy to Changeling. But either way, it was a fun character. But all the characters were pretty fun. Cyborg, Cyborg was a pretty cool character. The athlete was torn because he could no longer be an athlete because he was now half machine. And I have to admit, I had a bit of a crush on Donna Troy. Can't really explain why. It should have been Coriander or Starfire, but for me it was more Donna Troy. Not sure why. I guess she was more sober in her look, so that's probably why I liked her better. Although I wasn't too crazy about the animated TV series they made with the Teen Titans, essentially they aimed at a younger audience, and at the time they made the TV series, I was way too old for that. And even worse now with Teen Titans Go. Like it, watching an episode or two can be cute, but
After my sisters and
I can understand. Although strangely enough, I never saw Wonder Woman that way, but Wonder Girl, for some reason, yeah, I really liked her. Yeah, I have calzone once in a while. There's this little place close to where I live who usually make some good calzones. But given the choice, I would go for pizza instead of calzone. Yeah, they essentially a lot of the characters from Teen Titans could not be used either on the Arrow TV show or in other medias because they were keeping them for what should have been the new Teen Titans TV show. And sadly, the deal fell through. We don't really know what happened. All we really know is that there will be no show. And now the characters that Arrows and the other TV shows could not use, now they can use them. So it's sad that they won't make the Teen Titans TV show, but we might see some of those characters in other TV shows, in Arrow or Legends of Tomorrow, or so it's not really a loss. It's going to be more of a gain than anything else. We don't really know what happened. Like the same with, there was supposed to be a spin-off from Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. called Marvel Most Wanted or something like that, where essentially you had Mockingbird and her, I'm not sure if it's her husband or ex-husband or both, would go and were essentially hunted or something like that. It was from the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Essentially it's two characters that were in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were supposed to get their own shows. And apparently the ABC decided not to pick up the trailer, the pilot, or the series after seeing the pilot, I should say. So we don't really know what happened, and no one is really talking. The closest to a reason we got was that the pilot wasn't as strong as some of the other offerings they had, or something like that, which could mean anything. Sadly, there's a whole truckload of reasons that can lead to a show being cancelled or not picked up. And sometimes the quality of the shows are not really the issue. Like there was this awesome show called Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Holy crap, was it good. The best Avengers TV show ever. Sadly, Marvel was bought by Disney, and Disney decided to scrap the whole thing and rebrand it, what was it called, Avengers Assembled or something. And they tried to make it a bit more connected to their movie universe. There was also this other show, Spectacular Spider-Man. It was a really, really fun show, and that too got the axed for, what was it called, the Ultimate Spider-Man? Because of Disney buying Marvel. So sadly, sometimes there are things that happen that have nothing to do with the quality of the show. That
we sometimes forget that we can be injured.
yeah, I watched Firefly. I'm not a fan of that show. So sadly, I could talk about Firefly if you want, but I'm not going to say nice things. Red Hood, you mean the Batman Under the Red Hood or something? The DVD movie that they produced a while ago? I have to admit, I was surprised by that one. I didn't expect much of it. I wasn't too crazy about the storyline from the comic. I thought they had been a bit lazy or a bit stupid with the whole thing. Like if they should have stuck to. Originally, they were planning to bring Jason Todd back within the pages of Hush, but then supposedly because everyone pretty much guessed ahead of time what they were doing, they decided to make a fake out where the Jason Todd we saw in Hush was actually Clayface in disguise or some crappy crap like that. Oh, did I forget to repair? Oh, okay. Because I still remember the splash page where you have Jason Todd holding Tim Drake, and you see essentially it's Hush who's unmasked, and beneath the bandages we have an older Jason Todd. So that really got my attention, and then sadly the next issue after that turns out it was a fake out. But they were planning to bring Jason Todd back no matter what. So then they came up with a second version, a second attempt to bring him back with the whole Red Hood storyline. Yeah, it was Thomas Elliot in the end, but at first it was supposed to be Jason Todd. But everyone guessed that Hush was Jason Todd, so they decided to turn it into a fake out, a misdirect. They did the same like 20 years ago. There was this series called Armageddon 2001, where essentially you had this character called the Monarch. It was supposed to be a hero who had turned into a villain. And there was this whole mystery behind who was Monarch. Essentially, he was a villain from the future, so a present hero would eventually turn into Monarch. And then there was this whole quest in order to find who would turn into Monarch. And originally, it was supposed to be Captain Atom. Captain Atom was supposed to turn out to become Monarch, but everyone expected that. Everyone figured it out way ahead of time. So at the last minute, they decided to change it. So they came up with this change in the story where instead of Captain Atom becoming Monarch, it was a Hawk from Hawk and Dove who became Monarch. And then later on, they tried to switch that around again, and they tried to have Captain Atom become Monarch after all, but it became a whole mess. And they even did that twice. Like at some point, they had him become Monarch, then they forgot the whole thing, and then they tried to have him become Monarch again. It was a big hot mess. And then they brought back Hawk in Blackest Night. So sadly, sometimes they change their plans at last minute for reasons, and that was one of those cases. Personally, I would have preferred if they stuck to their guns, and it doesn't matter. I'm not sure why they were so unhappy that people guessed ahead of time. But that was a pretty good storyline to bring back Jason Todd. But the way they ended up doing it with the whole Redwood thing, it was a bit of a mess, and it was a bit convoluted. And let's try and do some more missions, maybe. And I'm not sure if it's new or how new it is, but you can see now our combat rating when we're on the on duty menu, which is kind of nice. Yeah, I wasn't too big a fan of Arkham Knight either, and it didn't work within the story they had. It didn't really work. Seeing Nightwing on Arrow, that would be nice too. Well, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. We know that there's going to be a Wild Dog and Vigilante, so those have already been announced. Let's see. So I guess we have no choice now but to do tier 7 missions. Well, it was fairly obvious pretty quick who he was, although it didn't work within the context of the story, so they had to force it a bit. Oh yeah, let's go to. I know where we can go. And there's this new Batman game. The name escapes me by Telltale Game. I don't know if any of you guys tried it out. I know there's this huge thing about how the game is pretty much broken on PC, and people are asking to be refunded or something. Ooh, it's my legal. Let's give a little bow to our friend. You left.
Hey, something's up with your security systems in the holding cells. You might want to get down there and check it out. It doesn't look good.
I'm not sure why you left. We should have been fine. Holy crap.
This is Amanda Waller. Task Force X is taking control of this situation. I'm sending in the Suicide Squad to assist you. I assure you that those mercenaries will comply.
I haven't read Deadpool like forever. I think the last time I read Deadpool, it was during the miniseries with Joe Madureira. And Deathstroke, holy crap! I tried a few issues of the new 52 Deathstroke comics, and that's pretty much as far as I went. What happened with our friend? Ah, shoot, no. I guess it's going to be a bit harder to make marks of victory right now, since we're too high level for missions that require 116, and we're sadly barely high enough for missions that require more than 116. Oh, I was about to leave, but holy crap, 111. Oh, let's get out. Let's get out of here. Sadly, there is a bane if you use the on duty menu, is that everyone seems to cure when they have the minimum of the minimum combat rating. So you pretty much end up in situations where you pretty much have to solo the mission. So if you cannot solo the mission and you end up with a one, I don't know, 110 player, yeah, you just won't be able to make it. So let's see. I'm not sure if we can get marks of victory here. I assume we can, but let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. Odds are we probably need 116 at the most to get marks of victory here. And we'll get the citrine scanner. And of course, the quest tracker doesn't work. So luckily, we still get marks of victory from the patrol catastrophe. So that's probably one of the few things we're going to use to gain marks of victory. Let's see. I'm not sure why the quest tracker is busted, but anyway. Essentially, when they made the last few changes for the various menus, they pretty much broke the quest tracker.
LexCorp has weaponized the citrine
Oh.
mist and is using it against Green Lanterns. I'm sure their scientists have a device that can reverse the process. Go to their field base, find it, and rescue our corpsmen.
Essentially, I was on the wrong side. I've done this mission way too much as a villain. And let's see if we can find the last few times I did this mission, finding the lanterns we needed. Here's one.
Hey, the hunger.
And let's pull the camera back a bit so that we can follow our little misty friend.
I have no idea why those orange lanterns haven't completely taken us out.
What do you mean? You don't understand the appeal of the character, or?
You can't resist the mist. You just couldn't.
Although, I guess I'll have to be frank. I don't understand the character lately either. I'm still familiar with the Iron Man from the, I don't know, 80s, 90s maybe at best. But the current version they have, or they've had in the comics for a while, I have to admit I don't understand it either. And there was this whole superior Iron Man crap that didn't make any sense. But that was to be a little expected.
I think the mist has left.
And now they have this new Iron Man, which is a black girl, or I should say an African American girl. Although I have no idea if she's even American. So let's go for the next mission close to City Hall. I should probably go see our friend Elsa first to see if I'm going to get the Marks of Victory, but let's do those anyways. You're gonna have to wait. It's next year, sadly. I went too close to the evil villain base. Holy crap, that's quite a fall. Sometimes I forget I'm not a villain. That's what happens when you play with characters of both factions.
Mogo says if you free our friends, we should be able to get that amethyst mist out of him. Mogo's a smart fella. I mean, his brain must be huge.
That seems to be there it is. he can't fly, but he can jump really high. At least in this universe online, he can. When I started playing this universe online, I was comparing playing a BS speedster to being a human jumping bean, because there are times where essentially there were times when you spend a lot of time pretty much jumping around as opposed to actually running fast. Essentially, you would jump around to try to avoid certain enemies or. Although that hasn't been as much an issue lately. Oh yeah. Yeah, I just forgot I wasn't the villain. So I'm used to going to that building as a villain, obviously to complete my quests. So I just forgot that today I'm not allowed to go there. But I had a friend who was very insulted when that would happen to him. Essentially, the same happens obviously in Gotham or Metropolis when you get too close to the enemy bases. Like if you're an evil villain and get too close to a police station, you get thrown around like that. So when it would happen to a friend, he wasn't happy about that. Hey, baseball worldwide.
Leave me be. I can't resist.
I remember what was happening to me at first. I was wondering what was happening. It took me a while to realize that, oh, it's the evil villain base, and we're not supposed to be there. Although once in a while you'll see some evil villains or heroes who manage to get very close, not just to the base, but even to the bouncers. And of course, there are those who use the bouncers to essentially escape. Like they'll attack the villain, the hero police station or the villain safe houses, and when they see that they're about to get their backside kicked, then they'll run towards the bouncers so that they can essentially send them flying away. So they use them essentially to escape, which I guess is a strategy, if you can call it that. I'm not a big fan of Batman v Superman. The movie was a mess. I didn't like Man of Steel to begin with, so I wasn't too crazy about Henry Cavill being Superman again. But there were bigger issues than just Henry Cavill. But right from the start, I knew I wasn't going to be a fan. And people essentially warned everyone that if you didn't enjoy Man of Steel, oh sorry, you wouldn't like Batman v Superman, and that I was one of those. I pretty much hated Man of Steel, and Batman Superman sadly was pretty much more of the same, and even worse because it should have been a good film. Oh, no marks. I'm so sad. It should have been a good film, but sadly, lots of questionable decisions pretty much ruined it. And from what we hear, the same pretty much happened with Suicide Squad. Essentially, they started doing damage control for Suicide Squad, trying to say that it's not their fault if the movie stinks. They only had 6 weeks to write the script. But for Batman v Superman, holy crap. When I saw the first trailer, essentially the one where all we see is Batman on the rooftop with the bat signal and Superman, I might as well go back to my base. When you see Batman on the rooftop with the bat signal and you see Superman floating there, it wasn't. I know a lot of people thought it was really cool. For me, it was maybe. And then we had because we knew that it would be from Zack Snyder, and we knew that it would pretty much be more of the same from Man of Steel. So it was kind of hard to be enthused about it. But then we had a few trailers after that that were actually really good. So I was starting to hope that maybe it would be better. And the potential was there. Everything was there for it to be even better than Man of Steel. And sadly, then we had the Doomsday trailer, and that pretty much confirmed that what we would see would be more of the same as what we saw in the Man of Steel. And essentially, from the Doomsday trailer, we could tell if it was going to be a good film or not. And everything that was wrong in the trailer is in the movie. Everything that was wrong in the film, you could already see in the trailer. The angled flex suit. That's a good question. I think you get it from. Oh, I didn't do the vault today. If I'm not mistaken, you get it from the Flashback Duo. But it's a rare drop, I think. So you're gonna have to play that mission quite a bit in order to get the flex suit. Yeah, people seem to be split on that. Like earlier, there are people who really enjoyed Harley Quinn and the Joker and Suicide Squad. There are other people who really didn't like it. A lot of those who didn't like it because they pretty much changed who the characters were at the core. Like essentially, they turned the Joker is pretty much identified as Harley Quinn's girlfriend, and Harley Quinn is pretty much identified as the Joker's girlfriend, and that's pretty much their defining trait, as opposed to being defined by who they are, who just so happen to be the boyfriend or girlfriend of the other one, if it makes any sense. So what should just be an incidental detail in who the character is became all what the character is. Although I didn't see the film, so I don't know if that's true or not. But it's something that comes back in a lot of the comments. And people are pretty much split. There are those who love the new Joker and Harley Quinn. There are people who don't love them very much. Although Margot Robbie looks the part, so I'm not sure why people won't like her. But then again, I haven't seen the film, so maybe it's worse than I can imagine. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for that, I suppose. Let's put... where did I put that? I'm gonna have to rearrange my bases. Things are a little too much over the place. So let's put that here. I could have sworn... Oh, there it is. So I guess that's going to be it for now, unless maybe I can decide to make one more. I suppose. I can show you all the flash styles I have. Just give me 1 second. I'm just trying to figure out if I should try and do something else or not. I guess I could play those two. Essentially, are the flash styles I have. Obviously, this one, although I'm missing a proper emblem and a proper call, would be much needed for that look. But I guess right now my favorite look, which is pretty much a look I'm using quite a lot right now, is I've made a sort of hybrid between Jay Garrick and Barry Allen. Essentially, we have the nice Jay Garrick helmet, which is all kinds of awesome, and I thought it looked good with the Barry Allen T-shirt and even the Barry Allen boots. I know that Jay Garrick doesn't have boots like that. I should probably try and find him better boots. But I have to admit, I kind of like this look. Although I did try to come up a bit closer to the Jay Garrick look, because essentially Jay Garrick doesn't have gloves. You should have if this T-shirt had long sleeves, and then if I had better boots, this would be fairly close to Jay Garrick, I suppose. Of course, the shock jock chest piece would be even better, but I don't have that yet with this character. Essentially, I'm going to have to raise my combat rating up to 132, I think. And of course, there's always the evil Black Flash. Although now in the TV show, he's pretty much known as Zoom. But for the Flash, sadly, that's pretty much all I got. Unless, well, I guess I could use the Speed Force Spectrum, but I don't really like. Where is it? Tried to use it a few times, and I really don't like it. In black, it's not too bad, but I don't know. In red, it bothers me. There's too much texture, too much detail, too much. It's over designed. It's way too over designed. Well, thank you. Oh, yeah, let's try and play maybe one more. So let's try a 4-player mission, and let's hope we don't end up regretting it. Well, thank you, gaming expert. Should we try a 8-player mission? Maybe next time. So let's see, what missions could we do until something else pops? Oh yeah. I've completed the 500... well, let's purchase a few feeds. Essentially, Green Lantern started with Alan Scott. Was the original Green Lantern. He was from the 40s up to the mid 50s, like late 50s. And then they decided to come up with this new Green Lantern, who was Hal Jordan. And with Hal Jordan, they created what became known as the Green Lantern Corps. I was saving those replay badges to purchase styles, but from what we understand, the style purchase is far from happening. Maybe. Well, 200 and nah, 200,000 is not that much money in this universe online. Or did you mean because of the replay badges? Essentially, you get, I don't know, what is it, 150 replay badges each month. And I rarely spend them. I don't replay missions very often. One of the few exceptions that I replay is, oh, there we go. The Patrol Catastrophe mission is pretty much one of the missions that I replay. Sometimes I'll replay some Tier 4 missions. There's a few places in the game where I could be convinced to use replay badges a bit. But generally speaking, I pretty much never... Oh, the marketplace.
My friend Hermes has delivered a message to my mother. It says that I'm prepared to
You mean
swear
the
an oath
loyalty
to her
points?
and to return to Themyscira as princess.
I should spend those at some point, I suppose.
Just trust me.
So technically with a 164 player and a 130 player, it should be easy, although we do have a controller's 109. So the challenge will be to keep the controller alive, I suppose.
I know that you are not being controlled by Circe, but I still know that you are not my mother.
Yeah, that's a nice,
and I swear nothing to you.
A nice Aquaman.
Tell me who you are and what you have done to my mother.
War and death, and your mother serves both.
What in Hades was that? Careful, that's still my mother's body. Wait, what is this?
The Black Lanterns are evil lanterns. Essentially, they came up with something known as the Black Lantern Corps at some point. Actually, I should probably go back before that. They started with the Green Lantern Corps, and then they decided to add the Sinestro Corps, which was essentially the Yellow Lantern Corps. And then they added a core for pretty much each color, so we ended up with the Orange Lantern Corps, the Violet Lantern Corps, the Red Lantern Corps, and so on. And then, of course, it led to the Black Lantern Corps, which essentially was a Black Hand was able to bring the dead back. It wasn't quite like that, but it's a bit hard to explain without the whole context of the story. But essentially, the dead would gain a Black Lantern ring, so it would pretty much raise them as super zombies, super zombie lanterns, or sort of. I have to admit, it's been a while since I did this one. I don't quite remember where we're going.
I fear for my mother's soul, but whoever took it should fear me.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Come on. Those Amazons down there are
So
using
technically,
orders
you could,
receive reinforcements.
to make it
We need
simple,
to
you
shut
could
them
think
down
of
so
them
we
as
can
zombie
It looks like
lanterns.
our fallen allies have already begun the ritual. All we need to do is complete what they've started. The
As for the Green Lantern Corps and Hal Jordan,
One person will need to stand inside each circle to sustain it. Remain in the circle until the ritual is complete.
essentially at some point they decided to replace Hal Jordan, and strangely enough they did that a few times. Already, crap. I would have to say Kid Flash when he was Wally West. So in the 70s, they came up at some point with John Stewart, which is supposed to be like the alternate Green Lantern, and he was the Green Lantern for a while. They had the obligatory storyline where Hal Jordan gave up being Green Lantern and was replaced by John Stewart for a while, and then they added the Guy Gardner to the mix, and then they brought back Hal Jordan, and then at some point they pretty much destroyed the Green Lantern Corps and created Kyle Rayner, who was the last Green Lantern. And then Kyle Rayner recreated the Green Lantern Corps once more. And then again, Hal Jordan was back as Green Lantern later on. And it was a bit of a mess. I started liking Robin thanks to the Teen Titans. I pretty much talked about him a bit earlier. I wasn't a big Dick Grayson fan, but when I read the Teen Titans, I pretty much became a Dick Grayson fan, at least within the pages of that book. And if you like Robin, there's this fan film called Grayson. If you've never seen it, I would suggest you see that. It's a really awesome film. Essentially, they made a trailer, and it's a sort of a what if story, I suppose. It would be like what if it's like what if Batman died, and then you had Dick Grayson who had to pick up the mantle of Robin once more to avenge his death. Again, if you haven't seen it, you have to. It's really awesome. And I have to ask a gaming expert, which version of Superboy do you like? The Silver Age version, where it was a younger Superman? The one from the 90s, who was the Superman clone? Or the current one, who seems to be the son of Superman? Like with Rebirth, they seem to have reinvented Superboy as being the son of Superman. Now they have this series that which will be Superboy and Robin. I don't recall the name of the story. I think it's called Super Sons or something like that. Oh, it's okay. It doesn't matter if you're 10.
to catch him. If the gods are involved, we're going to need more help. Gather more allies, then follow me into the pits of hell.
Yeah, Superman had a son, and essentially with the new 52, they pretty much gave Superman a new story or a new backstory. And during the new 52, they had this storyline called Convergence, where essentially they tried to bring back a whole lot of stuff from before the new 52, and they even had they had a bunch of stuff from various eras of DC Comics. And one of those things that they brought back with the Convergence was the classic Superman, the Superman before the New 52. But that version of Superman was married to Lois Lane, and I think she was pregnant in the comic or something like that. And then after Convergence was over, there was this series called Lois and Clark or something like that, where essentially you had the pre-New 52, it's getting complicated a bit. You had the pre-New 52 Superman with Lois, who it turns out had been part of the New 52 all along, but he was like in the behind the scene, it was like hiding. And in that series, the Lois Lane who was pregnant in Convergence, it turns out she had a son. And I guess time passed differently or something. Essentially, her son was like 10 years old. Not sure how she could have been pregnant during Convergence, and she had a 10-year-old son. I didn't follow those storylines very closely, so maybe it's, I don't know, maybe there's some sort of time jump. Maybe it's not even the same version. Anyway, so essentially during the pages of Lois and Clark, you have the pre-New 52 Superman with the pre-New 52 Lois Lane, and they have a son called Jonathan or John, something like that. And now DC had what is known as Rebirth, and just before Rebirth, they killed Superman. They killed the New 52 Superman, and they replaced him with the pre-New 52 Superman. And the son of that Superman became the new Superboy. And now they're planning the series with the son of Superman, the new Superboy, and the son of Bruce Wayne, Damian Wayne. And the series will be called Super Sons. As for Tim Drake, not sure what his status is with Rebirth. Dick Grayson is back to being a Nightwing in Rebirth. Damian Wayne is Robin. So I guess Tim Drake will be Red Robin, I suppose. Although they did make him, I think they made him Batman Beyond at some point, or there was a future Tim Drake. It gets a bit confusing if you didn't follow the storylines, and I didn't follow the storylines, so I'm not quite sure what happened. Oh, that's a little complicated, but essentially in the late 80s, there was this graphic novel called Batman, Son of the Demon. And in that storyline, essentially you had Batman, who, anyway, through the story, he becomes married to Talia al Ghul. And I guess he would probably replace Ra's al Ghul at some point or something like that. But then things happen where Talia al Ghul becomes pregnant, and then Batman wants to leave with his pregnant wife. And there's this evil guy called Kane, whom they have to stop, but Batman doesn't care about stopping Kane or something like that. He wants to... it's been a while since I read that, so... essentially, in order to manipulate Batman into fighting Kane, Talia al Ghul pretends that she lost the baby, and but at the end of the story, we find out that she didn't lose the baby. She gave him up for adoption, and that's the last we heard of him for like 20 years. Until Grant Morrison decided to bring him back under the guise of Damian Wayne. But then sadly they realized that if they made Damian Wayne the son that the baby that we saw in Batman Son of the Demon, they would have to pay royalties to the creators of the Batman Son of the Demon story. So they came up with this convoluted way to have Damian Wayne still be the son of Batman, but being like a different version than the one we saw in the Son of the Demon. Essentially, Talia al Ghul raped Batman or some crazy nonsense like that, and she impregnated herself with his seed, and then they cloned Damian Wayne or something like that. Because at some point there even was multiple clones of Damian Wayne for reasons, and one of the clones even kills Damian Wayne in one storyline. So technically, Batman has a son since Batman Son of the Demon, but it's only when Morrison decided to bring him back that he really had a son. And then they killed him for a bit, and then they brought him back, and so I guess that's going to be it for now. Unless I decide to... can we go down there? That's what I thought. I hate those invisible walls. I wish we could go down there. Now I'm sad. So I guess that's going to be it for now, guys, unless you want to see me jump from pillars to pillars. Let's try maybe one PvP match. My head hurts just thinking about it, but let's give it a try. Essentially, I'm going to show you guys the new PvP map, unless the game crashes again, which wouldn't surprise me. So let's see what we have with this little fella. Not much. Do I have Marks of Legends? Oh. Now I'm sad. Let's go with our friend Hal Jordan. It's okay. It is confusing. So I can't blame you. I guess no PvP for today, I suppose. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.